Hey, y'all. How's everybody doing? All right. Hey, what's up, Beth? Yes, it's a good, beautiful morning. Absolutely. All right, y'all. Today we are going to be focusing on some bottoms up work, and we're going to teach you how to bottoms up clean, squat, and press. All right. So we're going to use some indirect methods to give you a direct result. Okay. So we can back this thing up. Oh, okay, cool. We got a little bit of lighting issue going on right here. All right. Well, there's going to be a shadow. So you gotta love that good Florida lighting. You know what I mean? Okay. So one of the things that we want to warm up whenever we're doing our bottoms up work is we want to make sure that our grip is up to par. Okay. So making sure our joints are nice and happy. So warm up the wrists. It's a great thing to do right here. Okay. The finger flicks above. If we're working at our desk, we may have some joint problems in the elbows going inward. Now, what you don't want to do is this right here. Just trying to warm up the elbow. So if you think about keeping your elbow tucked in tight and maybe do one at a time, that'll help you out with the elbow. Good. Now, when the bottoms up movement is being performed, there's a lot of chest activation going on here. There's a lot of neck activation going on. So it's important that when you are doing your bottoms up movement patterns that you're not looking all over the place, getting in potentially getting yourself like a form of whiplash per se, where you just kind of jerk your neck and then you strain it. Right? So when we're warming up for bottoms up work, make sure that your neck is loose, come up. I'm just going to stretch out your neck muscles right here. Do a little bit of circles of the neck. Make sure you don't get dizzy. If you do, have a wall right next to you so catch your balance, okay? Get those shoulders loose, okay? Bring it back. Okay. And then draw some big circles with the hips. Get everything nice and loose. Come back where you came. Okay. Then we'll hit a little bit of stretch. Just a little bit of movement, okay? Don't hold the pattern. Come out and in. All right. And then here, so you're going to grab the bottom of your palm, okay? And you're going to pull up and engage or flex your arm. So like you're trying to push yourself away from something. And you're rotating, you're pushing, you're activating that tricep. Same thing on the other side. You're also getting a little bit of movement in that wrist right there. Ooh, it's a little cranky right there. Okay, good job. Then, YouTube, you can't see me, but Instagram you can. So we're just sitting on our ankles right now, and we're just shifting our hips left and right. Hang on, go ahead and I'll adjust YouTube here in just a second. So you guys can see me better. I'm just shaking it out, getting those ankles nice and loose, okay? All right, let's see if we can move this around a little bit. All right, okay, I can dig that. That'll be all right. Okay. All right, so let's get into it, right? Bottoms up work is pretty challenging because most of us have an issue going on with our grip. That's going to drive me up the wall. Okay? Most of us have an issue with our grip. And with the bottoms up position, we're not focusing on having our wrist straight, right? We want to have an extended wrist, so when we are pressing, we're pressing through the palm of our hand. If we press here, and we're using this kettlebell as a reference point, right? So if I'm pressing here and I have my wrist straight, all badass like that, right? All the load technically is on my thumb. So your bottoms up press is going to be only as strong as your thumb can handle. So put the load in the palm of your hand. And the way you can think about that is that the load is going to be in the palm of your hand, just like the bell is right now, upside down, right? That's it. All right, so then if we switch it over to the other side, it's ready to rock and roll. Now I'm pressing through the palm of my hand, not through my thumb. Okay, so another thing that happens is when we are doing the bottoms up position, okay, we'll be in this right here, but then we'll have the kettlebell offset. So then we'll be holding it like this. We're not gonna be able to get the press or the squat or properly do the clean. All right, so one of the ways that we can get better at this movement pattern is by making sure that we've got the kettlebell loaded in the palm, right? So a great way to do that is with some shot put cleans. Okay? So right here, bring it up, tip it, just let it chill right there. All right. This one's pretty challenging for your press pattern. It does have a great carryover to your bottoms up, and it's a little bit safer because all of your fingers are fully engaged as opposed to here. It's a little bit more of a smaller access point. All right, and then you can get better at your squat pattern. All right, so practice that as a progression towards your bottoms up position. All right, so we've got to recap on our positions. We want to get better at this position right here. Okay, we want to get better at this position so we can squat and so we can press efficiently. So eventually we can load in this position and we can squat and we can press efficiently. And we bring it down. Okay. I'm getting caught by Soul right now. All right. Thanks, babe. So that's where we want to get to. All right. We want to be able to get to the point to where we can bottoms up clean, press, squat. But oftentimes we're not. We're kind of in a rush to get there, or we don't know the proper path to get there. All right. Now, it all starts out with this bottoms up clean, which can be a little bit challenging due to your hand position in your insertion. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see me. Well, we're going to be doing some angling. YouTube. Okay. So hopefully I got all this great light in here, but I can't see shit. All right. Okay. So when we're doing our bottoms up position, more often than not, individuals are reaching down and they're extending their wrist, and now you gotta try to clean with your wrists like that. All right, it's very challenging to do. I mean, imagine if you were just kind of trying to hold a weight like this. All right, you're not strong here. Okay, now the setup contradicts the endpoint. But in the setup, if you have a loose active grip, you're going to be able to get to this endpoint efficiently, because as you hike the kettlebell, you're bringing it up and you're thinking about, I'll show you from an angle, just so my leg's not in the way. You're thinking about coming from here, okay, and pulling up, creating some float, and then catching in this palm up position, not knuckles up, palm up right here. And then the bell is just going to sit right in that little cradle right there. So the way you clean the kettlebell for a bottoms up is the same as how you start the clean for a regular clean. It's just the finishing point is going to change. All right, that's all that's going to happen. You hike the kettlebell for a snatch. You hike the same for a swing, so on and so forth. Now, if you're doing, you're pulling the kettlebell straight from the ground up, you're not getting the advantage of the swing, which is generating that hinge so you can propel up where you want to go to. And pulling straight from the ground is a bit challenging, especially with the bottoms up position. So when we're doing this, we've got our kettlebell, our grip is loose, okay? So we can react in this position right here. All right. If I go into this position and I'm all like here, I'm already tight. I'm already overly constricted. You know, I'm all like that. So think about cleaning the kettlebell the way you would shake someone's hand, just enough, right? You give too much, then the kettlebell is going to give you improper feedback. If you don't give enough, the kettlebell is going to give you improper feedback. So you just got to do enough. And when you're pulling the kettlebell up, we have to remember that the kettlebell is not coming up and down, okay? We're keeping it close and bringing it up, all right? Drop, bringing it up. Drop, bringing it up, all right? And I'm able to sustain this load because everything is compressed to my body right here, all right? And that's for bottoms up cleans, okay? If you're doing bottoms up kettlebell position for stability work, you have to decrease the load and you have to elevate the height of the belt. All right. So if we're doing a bottoms up for rehab, up here is going to be good because it's going to put more strain on the rotator cuff. Right, and that's fine. But if we're doing bottoms up work for strength training, for core stability, for durability, things of that nature, we want to make sure that the load of the kettlebell is the same exact position that it would be if we're doing a clean. So whether or not I'm doing a clean, I'm here, right? Or if I'm doing a bottoms up, I'm right here. The only thing that's changed is that the load of the kettlebell is inverted, as opposed to right here, it's properly positioned at standard, okay? Now, the bottoms up clean, if you have that set properly, then you're gonna be able to press from there, all right? Now, building up the confidence to press takes time, right? So when you're doing bottoms up presses, 1 to 3 repetitions is perfectly fine. If you're getting into that 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, you're really just working on grip endurance. And that's actually pretty good for, people who train in another modality where they're using the kettlebell to get stronger for something else. Whether you're doing jiu-jitsu or rock climbing or you're a rower, an outdoor rower, something like that, grip, just big. So you can press for volume bottoms up, just to make sure that your pattern is the same heavy as it would be light. Okay. Now, when you're working that bottoms up position, it is 100% okay for you to use your other hand as a balancing aid. Okay, not a crutch. Right. So if we're working on our bottoms up position and I'm getting all over the place, we calm it down. Okay. Have a good look at it. Create some tension in the opposite fist. Okay. If I go to press with my feet wide, I'm probably going to hinge. But if I bring my feet in a little bit narrow, I can press straight up. Wide, I'm going to hinge. Okay. A little bit wide, this is going to happen. Creating heels under your hips, so straight line. Okay. And then bring it down and up. So, and then you apply the same principles whenever you're doing your squats. Keep everything loaded, nice and strong. Now, the bottoms up squat, something that you want to work more than your press. If we're looking at a rep to movement ratio, you can definitely bottoms up squat for more repetitions than you can press. So when you're practicing bottoms up movement patterns, 1, it's important to know what weights to use for the rep range. And 2, it's important to keep track of how your body's feeling during the bottoms up. Right? So and what I mean by that is because there's an overemphasis on stress on the grip, there's a bigger height of awareness of, oh my God, this is going to fall. And that just causes stress. And that's actually going to fatigue you while you're working out. Right. So if you ever do bottoms up work, you're doing like 3 cleans, 2 presses, or 2 squats, 1 press, something along those lines, right? And you get done, you're like, holy cow, what's wrong with me? 1, you might be holding your breath. 2, your movement pattern could be incorrect, and you're working harder than what's necessary to get the job done. All right, so what would that mean is that maybe you're doing your bottoms up clean, and you're bringing it out like so, as opposed to bringing it up, okay, keeping it close to the body. That's efficient. All right. If you're doing your squats, your knees are buckling in, maybe causing your bell to pull you forward, making your back have to work harder, expend more energy. And then when you go to do the press at the end, you literally have nothing left in the tank. All right. So it's important that you do have a good understanding of that shot put position prior to going into doing your bottoms up work. Okay. All right. So now let's just say we are getting strong and we're doing a great job with our bottoms up work, and we want to kind of layer in some skills. All right. So one of the things that you can do is you can do some progressive training, right? Start out heavy, work your way light, make things feel a little bit better, right? So we can do a bottoms up clean with our 32, okay? So we just do 1 rep, and this is going to trick the system, all right? So maintain the balance. Now you go to your 2-4. Now we're going to hit a squat. Okay, all right, cool. Feels good. All right. Now we go to our 16. Stack it up. Press. Bring it down. Work the kettlebell. So that's a pretty cool complex that you can do to help skill build and get better at your bottoms up position. But bottoms up work, if you're trying to get better at it, it's not about how many repetitions you get done in one day. It's about how many really, really good repetitions you get done in that training session. And just because you have one good training session doesn't mean that's how you're going to train every single time. So I'll leave you with this. Is there not really too much more we can talk about with the bottoms up? I'll leave you with this. Try not to judge your fitness on all your best days. Judge your fitness on your worst days, because your worst days are where you learn the most. Okay. You remember when you failed at this or you failed at that, and because they change you and they help develop you and help you get stronger, not only mentally, but physically and spiritually. So think about those aspects and learn from all of your mistakes, and then you'll get better at all of your achievements. Okay. So that's the bottoms up position, clean press, front squat. If you need some reviewing of your movement pattern, you can email me, mavericksfieldhouse@gmail.com, or you can send me a message on Instagram. Okay. That's where I'm very active for all of the individuals that we work with around the world. Complex is you can do 10 rounds. Okay. Heavy bell, medium bell, light bell. 1 clean, heavy. 1 bottoms up clean and front squat, medium. And then 1 bottoms up clean and press, light. Okay. So left and right, that'll equal 1 set. Try to do 10 rounds of that, resting as needed. It'll probably take you about 20 minutes if you're doing it with appropriate loads. If you're doing it with, the same bell across, you may want to do bottoms up clean and press, 2 bottoms up squats, and then finish up with 3 bottoms up cleans. And then make sure that every time you do that clean, that you're really, really focusing on the end point and how the kettlebell is getting up into position. All right. So remember, we don't want the kettlebell to come out, up, and down. We want to keep the kettlebell close and finish strong in that rack position, making sure that the load is compressed to the body. Okay. All right, y'all. That is the bottoms up. Hope you enjoyed it. Keep me posted if you need anything else, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. All right, see what we got here. That light is bright. Oh yeah. All right, there we go. Now we'll turn it down. All right.